Think about the last time you saw true power in action, not the loud, showy kind that demands attention, but the quiet force that changes lives. I want to tell you about Michael, a person I met 15 years ago, who showed me what real confidence looks like. Michael worked in a small accounting firm, sitting in the last cubicle by the window. Most people barely noticed him during their busy days. He wasn't the type to speak up in every meeting or share his opinions without being asked. But Michael had something special brewing inside of him, a plan, a vision, and most importantly, an unshakable belief in himself. Over 3 years, I watched Michael transform himself and his career. He didn't do it with grand announcements or by stepping on others. Instead, he worked differently than everyone else. While others rushed home at 5 o'clock, Michael spent an extra hour studying industry trends. When others complained about new software changes, Michael learned every feature until he could teach it better than the trainers. What struck me most about Michael wasn't just what he did, it was how he did it. He carried himself with a quiet assurance that drew people to him naturally. Clients started requesting him specifically. Co-workers began asking for his advice. Even the office atmosphere seemed to change when he walked in. One day I asked Michael about his secret. His answer surprised me. I decided to stop proving myself to others, he said, and started proving myself to myself instead. Those words hold the key to what we call quiet confidence. The kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce itself to be noticed. The world is full of people trying to be noticed. They speak the loudest, dress the flashiest, and push themselves into every conversation. But true confidence works differently. It's like the difference between a flashlight and a lighthouse. A flashlight demands attention by shining in people's faces, but a lighthouse simply stands tall, doing its job, and ships naturally follow its guidance. This quiet confidence Michael showed has nothing to do with being introverted or extroverted. It's not about your personality type or your background. It's about understanding a fundamental truth. Real power comes from within, and it shows itself through your actions, not your words. Now let's be clear about something important. The confidence we're talking about isn't arrogance. Arrogance is like a balloon. It looks big and impressive, but has nothing inside and can be popped easily. True confidence is like a strong oak tree. It has deep roots, provides value to others, and stands firm even in strong winds. The amazing thing about quiet confidence is that anyone can develop it. Yes, anyone, including you. It doesn't require special talents or lucky breaks. It doesn't demand that you change your personality or become someone you're not. Instead, it asks you to become more of who you already are, but with purpose and clarity. As we continue this discussion, you'll understand exactly how to build this kind of confidence. You'll learn why some people seem to have a magnetic effect on others without trying, and how you can develop that same quiet power. Most importantly, you'll discover that the tools for transformation have been within your reach all along. The story of Michael isn't unique. In fact, right now, in this very moment, someone reading these words is about to begin their own transformation story. That person might be you. And if you feel something stirring inside you, a recognition, a readiness for change, then you're already taking the first step toward dominating your life with quiet confidence. The greatest mistake people make when seeking confidence is looking in the wrong place. They search for it in other people's approval, in social media likes and promotions or material possessions. But trying to build confidence from external sources is like trying to fill a bucket with holes. No matter how much you pour in, it always runs empty. I want you to try something right now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine stripping away everything external in your life. Your job title, your possessions, other people's opinions of you. What remains? That core essence? Your thoughts, values, and inner strength? That's where true confidence begins. Your self-worth isn't a price tag that others get to set. It's an internal value system that you control. Think about a gold bar in a vault. Its value doesn't change whether people believe in it or not. It's valuable because of what it is, not what others think about it. Your worth functions the same way. But here's where many people get stuck. They understand this idea in theory, but struggle to believe it. Why? Because they've spent years listening to the wrong voice. Not the voice of others, but their own internal dialogue working against them. Your internal dialogue shapes your reality more powerfully than any outside force. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every thought you think is like planting a seed. When you tell yourself, I can't do this or I'm not good enough, you're planting weeds that will choke out your confidence. But when you tell yourself, I am capable, I can learn and grow, you're planting flowers that will bloom into unshakable self-belief. This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic thinking. Instead of saying, I hope this works out, say, I'll find a way to make this work. Instead of thinking I'm not ready, think I'm learning and improving every day. These aren't just word games. They're fundamental shifts in how you process reality. Building mental strength requires daily habits. It's like building physical strength. You wouldn't expect to get physically strong by going to the gym once a month, would you? Mental strength works the same way. Every time you face a fear, solve a problem, or learn something new, you're doing a mental push-up. So start small. Choose one challenging task each day. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been avoiding, or spending 30 minutes learning a new skill. Each time you follow through, you're not just completing a task. You're building evidence that you can trust yourself. This self-trust is the foundation of unshakable confidence. Learning to walk. As a child, you didn't worry about looking foolish. You didn't care who was watching. You stood up, fell down, and stood up again until you mastered it. That same fearless persistence needs to become your approach to everything you do. Each setback is just feedback. Each failure just a lesson. Here's a powerful technique I learned from a successful business owner. Every evening, she writes down 3 things she did well that day. Not major achievements, just small wins. Maybe she handled a difficult conversation well or finished a task she'd been putting off. Over time, these daily records become proof of her capability, building her confidence from the inside out. Creating unshakable self-belief isn't about eliminating doubt. Even the most confident people experience doubt. The difference is in how they respond to it. When doubt appears, they don't fight it or try to ignore it. They acknowledge it, then act anyway. It's like driving at night. You can't see the whole road ahead, but you can see far enough to take the next step. Your beliefs about yourself are like the operating system of a computer. They run in the background, influencing every decision and action you take. If your current operating system isn't serving you well, you have the power to upgrade it. Start by becoming aware of your self-talk. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I care about? Remember, confidence isn't the absence of fear or doubt. It's the ability to move forward despite them. Think of confidence like a muscle. It grows stronger when faced with resistance. Each time you push through discomfort, take a calculated risk, or stand up for what you believe in, you're strengthening this muscle. This foundation of quiet confidence, rebuilding isn't a temporary fix. It's not about pumping yourself up before important events or wearing a mask of confidence. It's about developing real, lasting strength from within. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to prove their worth because they know it deep in their bones. As you build this foundation, you'll notice something interesting. The less you need others' approval, the more naturally it comes to you. The less you try to prove your worth, the more others recognize it. This is the paradox of quiet confidence. It attracts what it doesn't chase. Take these ideas with you. Start paying attention to your internal dialogue. Begin building those daily habits of mental strength. Most importantly, remember that the foundation of quiet confidence isn't built in a day, but neither is a cathedral. Every small action you take toward believing in yourself adds another brick to this foundation. Would you like me to continue with the next section of the speech? We can explore how this foundation transforms into practical action and visible results. Knowledge sits at the heart of genuine confidence. Think about a master chef in their kitchen. They move with certainty and grace not because they're naturally gifted, but because they understand their craft down to the smallest detail. This same principle applies to every field, every skill, and every life situation you'll encounter. Years ago, I watched a young lawyer handle her first major case. She wasn't the most experienced attorney in the courthouse, but she had spent countless hours preparing. She knew every detail of the case, anticipated every possible question, and understood the relevant laws completely. When she stood up to speak, her confidence didn't come from bravado or natural talent. It came from thorough preparation. Knowledge creates a special kind of confidence that nobody can take away from you. When you truly understand something, your confidence becomes bulletproof. It's like the difference between memorizing a few phrases in a foreign language and actually becoming fluent. The person who memorized phrases might sound confident, until someone asks an unexpected question. But the fluent speaker can handle any conversation because their knowledge runs deep. The field you work in right now, how much do you really know about it? Not just the basics you need to get by, but the deeper understanding that sets experts apart. True expertise doesn't come from simply showing up to work each day. It comes from deliberate study, careful observation, and constant curiosity. Start by becoming a student of your craft. Read everything you can find about your field. Listen to people who've mastered it. Watch how they work, how they think, how they solve problems. Ask questions, challenge your assumptions. This kind of deep learning creates a reservoir of knowledge you can draw from whenever you need it. But here's something crucial to understand. Preparation isn't just about gathering information. It's about understanding patterns, seeing connections, and developing insight. It's the difference between knowing facts and having wisdom. A weather forecaster can tell you it will rain tomorrow, but a farmer knows why the rain is coming by reading the signs in nature. The relationship between preparation and performance follows a simple rule. The more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle. Every hour you spend preparing reduces stress and uncertainty when it matters most. Think about emergency room doctors. They can handle intense situations calmly because they've prepared for every possible scenario. Their confidence comes from knowing they're ready for whatever walks through those doors. Here's a practical approach to preparation I learned from a successful business owner. Each evening, she spends 30 minutes preparing for the next day. She reviews her schedule, anticipates challenges, and plans her responses. But more importantly, she identifies areas where she needs more knowledge and makes time to fill those gaps. This simple habit has transformed her effectiveness and confidence. The key to converting knowledge into actionable wisdom lies in application. Information sitting in your head is like money sitting in a vault. It only becomes valuable when you put it to use. Take what you learn and apply it immediately, even in small ways. If you read about a new technique, try it out. If you learn a new concept, teach it to someone else. This practical application turns knowledge into understanding and understanding into wisdom. Remember this. The most powerful forms of preparation often happen when nobody's watching. It's the extra hour you spend researching before a meeting. It's the practice runs you do before a presentation. It's the scenarios you play out in your mind before making a big decision. This silent preparation builds a foundation of confidence that shows itself in the moment of truth. Think of preparation like compound interest. It grows exponentially over time. Each bit of knowledge you gain makes it easier to acquire more. Each skill you master becomes a stepping stone to new abilities. This cumulative effect creates a momentum that carries you forward with increasing confidence. And here's something remarkable about thorough preparation. It often looks like natural talent to others. People might say you make it look easy or that you're naturally confident, but you don't know the truth. You'll know that your confidence comes from the hours of preparation they didn't see. This silent power of preparation becomes your secret weapon. While others rely on chance or natural ability, you'll have something more reliable. The quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've done the work, understood the material, and prepared for the challenge ahead. Take this power of preparation with you. Start today. Choose one area of your life where deeper knowledge would make a difference. Begin your study. Practice deliberately. Convert what you learn into action. Watch how your confidence grows naturally from this foundation of thorough preparation. The silent power of preparation never fails those who embrace it. It's your pathway to the kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. It simply shows up in everything you do. Life rewards action, not intention. He watched a master carpenter once teaching his craft to a young apprentice. The apprentice stood frozen, afraid to make the first cut in an expensive piece of wood. The master carpenter said something I'll never forget. The wood is already ruined until you make it into something beautiful. Your fear isn't saving it, it's wasting it. That's how life works. Until you take action, your dreams and plans remain like that uncut piece of wood, full of potential but producing nothing. Many people wait for perfect conditions before moving forward. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel more confident, or I'll begin when I'm completely ready. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. Imagine learning to ride a bicycle. You can study the physics of balance, understand the mechanics of pedaling, and watch countless videos about cycling. But until you actually get on that bike and start pedaling, you'll never learn to ride. The same principle applies to everything worthwhile in life. Taking calculated action doesn't mean being reckless. It means moving forward thoughtfully, but without letting uncertainty paralyze you. Think about crossing a stream on stepping stones. You don't need to see every stone to take the first step. You just need to see enough to make a reasonable next move. The art of decisive action lies understanding this simple truth. You don't have to be completely certain to move forward. You just need to be reasonably sure of your next step. Successful people aren't those who never face uncertainty. They're the ones who've learned to act despite it. I once asked a successful entrepreneur about his decision-making process. He shared a powerful principle. The 70 rule: when he has about 70 of the information he needs and feels about 70 confident in his decision, he moves forward. Why? Because waiting for 100 often means missing opportunities. The remaining 30 usually becomes clear through action. Now here's something vital about taking acts. Setbacks will happen. They're not just possible, they're guaranteed. But setbacks don't determine your success. Your response to them does. Think about setbacks like detours on a road trip. They might slow you down temporarily, but they don't change your destination unless you let them. The secret to maintaining momentum after a setback is to treat it like a scientist treats an experiment. When scientists get unexpected results, they don't quit their research. They say, "That's interesting." Make notes about what they learned, adjust their approach. Your setbacks deserve the same analytical, unemotional response. Building momentum through small wins is like starting a fire. You don't begin with big logs. You start with small twigs and paper. Each small success is like adding another piece of kindling. Soon you have enough heat to handle bigger challenges. Each small win builds your confidence and creates energy for the next action. Start with actions so small they seem almost trivial. Want to write a book? Start with one paragraph. Want to build a business? Make one sale? Want to change careers? Take one class? These small actions might not seem significant, but they create something precious. Evidence that you can and will take action. The momentum you build through consistent action becomes a force that carries you forward. Each step makes the next one easier. Each small victory strengthens your confidence. Each setback teaches you something valuable. This is how ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things, not through one giant leap, but through consistent, calculated action. Remember that carpenter's wisdom about the wood? Your dreams and goals are like that uncut piece of wood. They contain infinite potential, but that potential remains locked away until you take action. Your fear isn't protecting your dreams. It's preventing them from becoming reality. Take this approach with you. Identify your next logical step, gather reasonable information, and then act. Don't wait for perfect conditions or complete certainty. Move forward thoughtfully but decisively. Learn from setbacks without being stopped by them. Build momentum through small wins. This is the path to dominating your life. One calculated action at a time. Power to act has always been yours. The only question is, what action will you take next? True leadership isn't about the spotlight. It's about impact. I remember watching a skilled foreman at a construction site who barely spoke above a whisper. Yet when he moved through the site, everyone paid attention. Not because he demanded it, but because he had earned it through years of consistent, reliable action. This kind of leadership doesn't come from a title or position. It grows naturally from the way you conduct yourself each day. Think about the most influential person in your life. Chances are they didn't influence you through loud speeches or dramatic gestures. They influenced you through their consistent behavior, their quiet strength, and their unwavering integrity. Leading by example happens in small moments that others might not even notice. It's staying late to help a colleague finish a project. It's taking responsibility for mistakes instead of blaming others. It's doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. These small actions might seem insignificant in the moment, but they create ripples that influence others far more powerfully than words ever could. The strength of quiet leadership lies in its authenticity. You don't need to create a leadership personality or copy someone else's style. Your power comes from being genuinely yourself, operating from your true values and beliefs. Think about water. It doesn't try to be anything other than what it is, yet it shapes mountains through its consistent, authentic nature. I once observed a department manager who transformed a team without ever giving a motivational speech or hanging inspirational posters. Instead, she showed up every day with the same calm dedication. When problems arose, she faced them with steady determination. When team members struggled, she supported them with quiet understanding. Her authentic approach created an atmosphere where everyone naturally wanted to give their best. Building trust through consistent behavior is like building a brick wall. Each small action is a brick, each kept promise. Each moment of integrity, each demonstration of competence adds another brick to your wall of trust. Over time, these consistent actions create something unshakable. People learn they can count on you not because you tell them they can, but because you prove it daily. This kind of trust building requires patience. You can't rush it or force it. Think about how trees grow. They don't shoot up overnight. They grow steadily, developing strong roots before reaching for the sky. Your influence as a quiet leader develops the same way. Each day, each interaction, each decision is an opportunity to strengthen your foundation of trust. The most powerful form of leadership doesn't announce itself. It shows itself in the way others begin to change around you. When people start coming to you for advice without being prompted. When they naturally follow your example. When they begin adopting your standards and values. These are signs that your quiet leadership is taking root. Creating lasting impact through subtle leadership is about understanding that small actions compound over time. Every time you maintain your composure in a crisis. Every time you make a principled decision, despite pressure to do otherwise. Every time you put the team's needs before your own. You're creating ripples of influence that extend far beyond the moment. How a lighthouse works. It doesn't chase after ships or try to direct them with loud commands. It simply stands steady, shining its light consistently. Ships naturally follow its guidance because they trust its unwavering presence. Your leadership can work the same way, not through force or demand, but through consistent, reliable presence. The impact of quiet leadership often reveals itself in unexpected ways. You might notice team members handling challenges with greater calm because they've watched how you manage stress. You might see colleagues approaching problems more thoughtfully because they've observed your careful decision-making process. These changes happen naturally, without force or pressure. Remember that quiet leadership isn't about being passive. It's about understanding that the most powerful influence comes not from what you say, but from what you do. Not from how loudly you can command, but from how steadily you can guide. Not from how much attention you can attract, but from how much value you can add. Your opportunity to lead begins now, in this moment. Not when you get a promotion or a new title, but right where you are. Start with one small action that aligns with your values. Make one decision based on principle rather than convenience. Support one person without expecting recognition. These small choices are the seeds of quiet leadership. The leader within you doesn't need permission to emerge. It needs only your commitment to consistent, authentic action. When you lead this way, you create not just temporary change, but lasting transformation in those around you. Your environment shapes you more powerfully than most people realize. Just as a seed needs the right soil, water, and sunlight to grow, your success requires the right conditions to flourish. I learned this lesson from watching a master gardener tend her garden. She didn't just plant seeds and hope. She carefully created the perfect conditions for growth. Creating an atmosphere of success starts with your physical space. Look around you right now. What does your environment say about your goals and values? A successful banker I know transformed his office from a cluttered mess into a space of order and purpose. He didn't spend much money. He simply arranged everything to support focused work. The change in his productivity and confidence was immediate and lasting. Your environment includes more than just physical space. It includes every influence that touches your life, the information you consume, the conversations you have, and most importantly, the people you spend time with. Think about how you feel after talking with different people in your life. Some leave you energized and inspired. Others drain your motivation and confidence. This isn't by chance. Surrounding yourself with growth-minded individuals looks like a natural elevator. It lifts you higher without extra effort. These people aren't just positive thinkers. They're active doers who challenge themselves and others to grow. When you spend time with such people, their standards naturally become your standards. Their drive becomes your drive. Their success habits become your success habits. I watched a young entrepreneur completely transform his business by changing just one thing: the people he spent time with. He joined a group of successful business owners who met monthly to share ideas and solve problems. Within a year, his thinking, his standards, and his results had risen to match theirs. He didn't just learn from them. He absorbed their success mindset through regular exposure. The true master of their environment sees obstacles differently than most people. Where others see walls, they see stepping stones. This isn't magical thinking. It's a practical approach to challenges. When you understand that every obstacle contains an opportunity, you stop being stopped by problems and start being guided by them. How sailors use the wind. Even when it blows against them, they can adjust their sails to make progress. Your obstacles work the same way. That difficult client becomes a chance to improve your service. That market setback becomes an opportunity to innovate. That personal challenge becomes a catalyst for growth. Maintaining composure in challenging situations isn't about never feeling stress or pressure. It's about creating an internal environment strong enough to handle external chaos. Think of yourself as the eye of a hurricane, calm and steady while everything swirls. This inner stability comes from knowing you've created an environment that supports your success. Start today by making small changes to your environment. Clear your workspace of distractions. Choose one growth-minded person to spend more time with. Take one obstacle and look for the opportunity within it. Practice maintaining your composure in small challenges so you'll be ready for bigger ones. Remember that mastering your environment isn't about controlling everything around you. It's about creating conditions that naturally support your growth and success. Just as that master gardener created the right conditions for her plants to thrive, you can create the right conditions for your success to flourish. Your environment will either lift you up or pull you down. The choice of which it does belongs to you. The journey of quiet confidence we've explored together isn't just about personal development. It's about transformation at the deepest level. When you understand that true power doesn't shout, that real confidence flows from within, you begin to see yourself and your potential in an entirely new light. Think back to where we started. We talked about that internal foundation that no one can take away from you. We explored how preparation builds unshakable confidence, how calculated action creates momentum, and how quiet leadership influences others naturally. We discovered how your environment shapes your growth and success. These elements work together like instruments in an orchestra. Your self-worth provides the bass note, the fundamental tone that supports everything else. Your preparation and knowledge add depth and richness. Your calculated actions create the melody that moves you forward. Your quiet leadership and carefully crafted environment harmonize to create something greater than the sum of its parts. The power to transform your life doesn't require dramatic changes or grand gestures. It starts with one small decision, the decision to believe in your own capacity for growth. Then another decision to prepare thoroughly for what matters. Then another, you just take thoughtful action despite uncertainty. Each decision, each action, each moment of staying true to your values adds another note to your symphony of success. Your legacy won't be measured by how much attention you attracted or how loudly you spoke. It will be measured by the lives you touched, the changes you inspired, and the example you set through your quiet strength. The people around you might not remember everything you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel through your consistent, authentic presence. The time for transformation is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions seem perfect. Right now, in this moment, you can choose to step into your power. You can choose to lead with quiet confidence. You can choose to create an environment that supports your growth. These choices, made consistently over time, will create ripples that extend far beyond your own life. Remember, the strongest forces in nature don't announce themselves with noise and flash. They work quietly, consistently, powerfully, just like the confidence we've discussed today. Your power lies in the same quiet strength, waiting to be expressed through your daily choices and actions. Whether you have this power, you do. The question is what will you do with it? How will you use your quiet confidence to transform not just your own life, but the lives of those around you? Your next action, your next choice. Your next moment of quiet strength begins now. The power was always yours. Use it wisely. Use it consistently. Use it now.